This is Justin AMZN on Thursday, March 21st, 2019. This is what happened today. We are definitely into 1800. We actually made a high of 1823.75 right before the day closed. And back in the pre-market, I mean, we pushed a little bit past 1800 after having the after hours end right at 1800. Pulled back, went sideways a little bit pre-market, and then did these really large candles, just going sideways and even breaking out, retesting, coming back down, still holding this low. This low is very similar to the one here. Again, not quite retesting the highs from earlier in the day yesterday, but just like we had a triangle consolidation yesterday that had this massive breakout with a really large bullish candle, really high volume. We had a very similar triangle here, holding at the 21, and then slowly broke out. Didn't really give much of a retest, but it really helped that it slowly broke out because there were a lot of opportunities to get in here even and just, let this thing run up higher. We had a really nice pause on the 1815 price. Excuse me, before going a little bit higher, coming back, retesting it, and then having yet again another bounce off that price. So there were a number of places to get in on small candles. There were some pullbacks. There was, I think, a tweezer bottom here. Okay, 3 cents off of a tweezer bottom, small candle here, continuation, a retest into 21. I mean, anytime you were buying off the 21 was working today after you had this initial, the first hour of the market opening up. After that first hour, any pullback into 21, which I guess technically it didn't really pull back again. But buying here, buying here, buying here, buying here, all those worked. Even buying here worked because it just kind of grinded up. Maybe you were, if you were buying that, you maybe got out of break even if you waited till the close. But anyway, if we switch over and look at calls, because the puts really didn't do too much. I mean, maybe some of this here, shorting from a high. But again, you're going, against the direction of the trend, and you got to be looking for a quick fade on those. Looking at the calls, this is that triangle. Had a really nice small range on the 1825 calls. Easily could have been setting this up, 4 by 3, completely, bracketing this this sideways action here with that triangle. That broke out and just ran up to $8 pretty easily. So, you could have doubled your option from 4 up to 8, getting 4R just on that move. But you also had some lows that were pretty similar here. I mean, the open low, this low, buying around 3, probably would not have been filled at 3. But just some nice opportunities to buy at the same option price that we'd seen earlier in the day or one close to it. Again, like I said, looking at the puts, the only real place to get into puts was probably that initial breakout that actually held the lows here pretty well. This is the 1800 puts, so it was in the money. Let's see if we can step back to 1775 puts. Let's see what these do. Those took out the low a little bit more, but 3 in a row right here. I guess you could have been buying 5 by 4 and just flip that out at 7 for 2R. That would have been a nice gain. But then nothing else worked the rest of the day in the puts. It was all, buying calls. Even the 1800 calls, you could have gone with those. They were, I don't want to say all over the place, but they were harder to do with $100 risk. The low we had in here, I like the 10 by 9, but it didn't hold that. The tweezer bottom price was close, 7 cents off. You could have been buying down here 9 by 8 instead of 10 by 9, or getting in at 10 here, and that just would have worked. There was some opportunities to get in here with this consolidation, but the breakout would have been getting in probably 14 by 12 instead of $100 risk. That would have been $200 risk. The option moved really nicely, got into the money by about $23 towards the close here. So the option had a little bit more intrinsic value. Plus, you still had a day left till expiration. So anyway, a lot of opportunities to get in. on these pullbacks, these sideways moves. Something I realized I didn't do and I should have done days ago is see if there was any sort of channel that I could have drawn in here. And so I was kind of playing around with this a little bit today, trying to see, okay, would something have worked here? And, just trying to grab the lows here. It doesn't quite fit. Let's see if I adjust the angle a little bit. See if it starts to fit a little better. Maybe grab this. Grab that. That's right back at that same level. But if I move this up to the highs, so this first high, that one kind of broke out. I like how it held the low. We're running right into that. And then this was a nice target here, right at 1815. Ran up almost to the high. So, I mean, this could kind of work, but again, you're just connecting. Well, I'm not even connecting. Right on 2 points. So it's kind of hard to get this to fit is all I was trying to do. I guess, actually, that fits a little better. Okay, now that I say that, that actually follows the lows much better. You're just above the high. Let me drop this high a tiny bit. Okay, running into the highs, just kind of straddling this one. Pull back, doesn't touch it again, so we're going to pull back through. We don't come back down and touch the bottom edge of this anymore. We run back up into the top a number of times, even this earlier today, where we ran up right into it, pulled back, just went sideways, ran up into it, retested, and then it doesn't touch it again here. So I should have drawn this in based on these lows down here. It wouldn't have helped with any sort of buy off the pullback. But what you could have done is drawn another line, like a midline maybe. Let's see if we grab that high. So the high down here, does that offer anything? I guess that gives us a couple opportunities for pullbacks. This one starts to pull back a little bit too far, but that would have been a great place to have that line as like a midpoint. So I zoom in on this. Yeah, the high here, the low here, those are meeting. Some opportunities to buy here. Buying here at the open yesterday. This would have been kind of a false breakdown that rallied, and then today opportunities to buy off the lows here. So this is my mistake, not having caught this, not having really looked at it earlier in the week, and trying to capture some of these. I guess I don't really have another place for this line to be because, I mean, I'm not at the midpoint, but I'm a little bit above it. I just like the angle this is at, seeing that play out, and somewhat being range bound on its way back up. I think had I drawn this in just based on some of these angles, once we got these lows and that high, if I had drawn that from, was that Friday to Monday? Yeah, Friday to Monday, that would have given us a really nice framework, and then drawn this line in as well. That would have given us a really nice framework to continue to watch this trend up and to get in on these pullbacks. And so I apologize for not getting this trend in here. I'll leave it on here for now and see if we'll have any sort of pullbacks back down into this tomorrow, see if we can continue higher. I've been saying, it's going to get into 1800. Now that we're there, I thought we were going to have a slower time in this range, but we've made it through in 3 days. So look for a dip to buy, because, I mean, this thing has just been on a tear. So I haven't looked at the weekly. I think we had a weekly squeeze, right? But we still have a weekly squeeze. Wow. Okay. That's pretty crazy. We have a weekly squeeze still. It hasn't triggered yet, even way up here. You can see how strong this is, breaking above these highs. So I would like to see a weekly squeeze fire, but if it could fire on a pullback on a bearish candle on a weekly, I mean, if there's any chance to get back down to like 1747 here, do a weekly S curve, and then just continue up, I would see that weekly squeeze pushing this up to new all-time highs in a matter of a few months. I mean, by June, July, let's say by July, just kind of speculating an S curve and then a grind higher, puts us into July. But I'm not making a promise. Don't go out and buy options for July or August and say, okay, it's going to be up here at 2,000 by then. May not happen. So, but really nice to see how well this is moving on the monthly. No squeeze, but clearly a really small, not even really small. I mean, we're talking monthly, $100 range on the monthly that, has been a really nice move from 1,600 up to 1,800 in just a matter of weeks, and so seeing such a small candle, getting that new high, we were watching that, the weekly back to the daily, this squeeze has continued to push this thing higher, this S curve here. Look for another S curve. Look for a pullback into the 5, into the 21, maybe even back down into this trend line. You can look at long-term moving averages and see where those are located and see if we could get a pullback into something like that. We've got to be above all the moving averages at this point. So anyway, let's see, we had earnings back in January. We won't have earnings again until out here towards the end of April. So there's, this has been a massive move that didn't really have a catapult like earnings. We went sideways. This has just been, letting the squeeze develop, letting the momentum build, and just holding on for the ride. So hope you're taking some profits and looking for opportunities to get back in, looking for opportunities on the 5-minute to, get in on pullbacks to ride this thing up. Some phenomenal opportunities to get in today. Very similar to yesterday, triangles on the 5-minute. These things just going sideways. I mean, we've had a lot of those where we just go sideways and it just breaks out. Really like this. I mean, this same exact thing happened today where we had pretty much a flat top and higher lows. That's pretty much what we had today, is a flat top and higher lows. I mean, you can draw this with a downtrend, lower highs and higher lows. But I mean, even just this last hour, pretty much flat, and then the breakout, just grinding up. So keep doing that. Keep looking for those opportunities, and lock in some gains. So hope that helps. Hope that's something you've been doing. And it's just amazing chart to see these lines. We should have drawn in the other day. So anyway, we'll see if any of that makes more sense for tomorrow to continue. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.